Let's go straight across to Nupur, who's joining us from the Apex Court, was part of these proceedings. She was inside the court. Nupur, these provisions had been contentious, which is why a bunch of petitions were filed. Now, several of these provisions have been stayed. We got these reactions also from lawyers from both sides. But take us through the big takeaways, if you could break this down for us, and how much of a relief it is as far as the petitioners are concerned.
Well, first of all, there is a big relief for the petitioners because the Supreme Court has given a partial interim stay on the provisions of the Waqf Amendment Act, but these particular provisions prevent things to change from ground. So first of all, first provision that the Supreme Court today stayed was the bar that someone has to be a practicing Muslim for at least 5 years before they create a Waqf. So this is one of the key contentious provisions that was challenged by the petitioners as non-secular and discriminatory. Today the Supreme Court had given an interim stay on this. Second provision that the Supreme Court has stayed is the power of collector to denotify a Waqf property. Now remember, this entire dispute was the major contention was that how can a collector denotify a Waqf property if it is not registered, even if it is just a Waqf by user property? How can just a collector adjudicate upon it? This is a court's authority. So the Supreme Court seems to have agreed with this argument that a collector cannot adjudicate whether a Waqf by user property is on a government land or not, and should it be denotified or not. Now, to denotify a Waqf by user property or any Waqf property, it has to go through a proper tribunal, proper procedure that is there in this new act. So this is in fact a big win for the petitioners who were claiming that large number of Waqf by user properties will be denotified by collectors and they will not have time to reach to the court, and a huge loss will be done till the time they fight their battles in court. Third provision that the Supreme Court has stated is about the inclusion of non-Muslim members in Waqf Board and Waqf Councils. Now, Waqf Board and Waqf Council, remember, has several members and ex-officio members. Now, the Supreme Court has said that the government should try, that the authority should try that the ex-officio members should be Muslims. They should be as far as they should be Muslim. That these are generally mostly the ministers or who become ex-officio members in the state councils and Waqf Board. So now they have also set a limit that how many members of the council and board can be Muslim. That is 3 and 4 respectively. That is in Waqf Board there can be 3 and in Waqf Council there can be 4. So now these are major relief to the petitioner. They were seeking an interim stay on these critical provisions, and the Supreme Court has granted this interim stay for now. But remember, this is not a final verdict. The final verdict will be out after the Supreme Court is done hearing complete arguments, and which could take around 8 months to 1 year.
Right, Nupur, as you've been pointing out, this is obviously not the final judgment. In fact, directives have been issued as far as some of these provisions have been concerned. But Nupur, since you were part of the court proceedings, were any constitutional concerns raised by the court in terms of observations like, say, a violation of religious freedom or property rights?
Well, first of all, the complete verdict was not pronounced today orally by the court. We are telling you what we have heard. Ultimately, what the observations are made by the court will come out in the written order that we can expect by the evening from the Supreme Court, and we can expect more details that what will be the impact of this interim order from that. Secondly, the court first of all, the court has today made this observation that a stay on a bill that has been on an act that has been duly passed by both houses of the parliament, there is an assumed factor of constitutionality in it, and that's what the centre was also saying. The Supreme Court said that it is only in rarest of the rare cases that they go ahead and give interim stay on such acts, and that's why the Supreme Court has not completely stayed the entire act but has stayed key provisions of this act, and which makes it a rare case truly.
Right. And also, Nupur, if you could clarify the controversy around Waqf by user and why there was concerns as far as denotifying such properties are concerned. We believe power of collector has been stayed. So if you can take us through that particular provision, Waqf by user.
Well, see, Waqf by user is a property that is not registered but became Waqf as the user had donated it as an. It's basically the property that is not registered. Be it some, for example, a madrasa that was orally donated to the Waqf and there was no registration on the paper, or a graveyard. So these properties can be Waqf by user property. Now there was this contention. The Supreme Court was told that there are several such property across the country which may not be registered as Waqf property but are functioning as madrasas or graveyards or any other utility of Waqf for that matter. But this new act had given powers to the collector to ascertain whether the Waqf by user property or any Waqf property is built on a government land, and it gave the powers to the collector to denotify it. Now the Supreme Court has stayed this power of the collector, and the Supreme Court said that if there is a property, Waqf by user property or any Waqf property in dispute, it will have to go through the proper tribunal channel. It will have to be fought at the tribunal level, and collector cannot just go ahead and say I am denotifying this property because I feel that this is built on the government land.
Right, Nupur, thank you for breaking that down for us. But if you could also take us through the inclusion of non-Muslims in Waqf Board Council, which has also been stayed. So if you can tell us, what did the court say as far as the inclusion of Muslims that are concerned? Is there a proportion that has been said? How many members will be there? And what proportion will be Muslims? And will there be any sort of allowances as far as non-Muslims are concerned in terms of the numbers? If you can break down that provision also and how that has been stated and what does that actually involve?
See, first of all, the main arguments by the petitioners when it comes to inclusion of non-Muslim members in this Waqf Amendment Act or in the Waqf Board and Council was that if we include, make the non-Muslims or give them majority in the Waqf Board and Council, this could be against the principle of secularism. As in other religions, there is no such practice where people from other religions are allowed a majority voice or allowed a major say. So now today the Supreme Court has said, okay, they have told the center that look, if you are including non-Muslim members in Waqf Board and Council, it should be limited to 3 in Waqf Board and 4 in Waqf Council, and you have to make sure that ex officio members, that is maybe the positions that are reserved for ministers or other government functionaries, official government functionaries that are reserved in Waqf Board and Waqf Council, they should not be non-Muslim. So this will ensure that there is not a majority or a major say of non-Muslims in the Waqf Board and Councils.
All right. Thank you for getting us all of those important details. We'll keep coming back to you, Nupur.